Hi everyone. I hope my audio is audible to all and the display on the screen is visible. My name is Meghna. I am from product management team of Soho People and I shall be demonstrating the leave and attendance modules today. So what's on the agenda for today's session? So let me quickly answer that question. So this is the agenda that we do have for today's session. So first we shall have a basic look at the configuration of leave module and the general settings that we do have, and then the data operations such as importing the holiday, customizing the leave policy, customizing the leave balance, and then the automation such as workflows, approvals, etc. And then the leave self-service, like how the employees or managers will be able to log the leave, and then the module roadmap. So moving on to the leave configuration and the settings part. So we do have certain settings which we need to configure before proceeding with the module usage. So in that we do have one calendar settings and then the pay period settings in order to automate your LOP and payroll reports, and then the leave type configuration based on your company's leave policies, absence scheduler in order to push your absence data from attendance module to the leave module, and then the compensatory off in order to convert your overtime into compensatory of leave, and few other general settings. So let us have a look at how to configure all these settings in the Zoho People account. So the first, so once when the employee's data, example, date of joining, location, department designation, everything is made available in the employee database. So we are good to go with the implementation of leave module. So the first setting, which is called as calendar setting. So here you can define the calendar setting for a specific location or default by default for all the locations. Here you will be able to define the week definition, like exactly when the week is going to start and when the work week is going to start and end. So in this example, my week is going to start on a Sunday, and then my work week is going to start on a Monday till Friday. So which leaves me with Saturday and Sunday being the weekends. So if you have a specific setting like only the alternative weekends of Saturday should be the weekends, so in that case you will be able to enable or disable the respective weekends. Moving on to the next item called calendar setting. So based on the region or based on your company, you will be able to set a specific calendar format, whether it is going to be the default Jan to December cycle or any custom calendar cycle such as April to March. So based on this, all the report configuration and the basic view of the leave and attendance modules will be varying. So of the defined weekends, if you wish to consider a set of weekends as statutory weekends, you will be able to enable this option and you can define which weekend should be defined as a statutory weekend. So in this case, the work done on this particular statutory weekend will be tracked separately and will be made visible in all the reports of leave and attendance modules. So this is how we basically set up the calendar definition for an organization. Moving to the next topic, pay period settings. You'll be able to define a pay period for a respective location, and you can define the cycle during which the pay period should be varying. So in this example, my pay period is going to be based on a monthly basis, where 16th of previous month to 15th of the current month is going to be considered as a cycle. And I have defined my payroll processing date as 17th and the report generation date as 20th. So for this example, so the pay period will be considered as 16th of previous month. For example, 16th April 2020 to 15th May 2020. And then on 17th May 2020, my LOP report from leave module and overtime report from attendance modules will be generated. So if you have enabled the lock, so all the modifications that are done to the attendance and leave or timesheet modules will be logged after the processing day. So in between 17 to 20, you will have a period where you can go do the LOP adjustments as per your organization. So this is how you generally configure a pay period cycle. So based on this pay period cycle, your LOP and payroll reports will processing, payroll processing. And then moving to the general leave type configuration, you can define any number of leave types based on your company's leave policy. So you do have leave types based on days or hours. So you can just give a leave type name, say annual leave, with a color coding in order to identify them in the reports and in the views. And you can give a respective image in order to see the same in the reports or in the views. You can define a code for each and every leave type. You can give the category whether it is a paid leave type or unpaid leave type or on duty or restricted holiday. So on duty as in optional holiday, etc., etc. You can provide that. So if you have any description related to leave, you'll be able to provide it. And the validity date that you provide here is generally used in order to make this leave effective from that particular respective date which was provided. If you don't have any expiry related to the leave type, you can just leave this to field blank so that the leave will be assumed to be available throughout the period. So moving to the next item called entitlement. So here you can define when the leave has to be attached, when the leave policy has to be attached to a respective employee. So assume a case where annual leave is applicable to the employees right from their date of joining. So in that case, you can leave it as such, like effective after 0 days from date of joining. So it's not just the date of joining, you have another field called date of confirmation from employee form, so which you can make use to define your leave policies. So say employees in your organization serve a 6 period of probation. So in that case, you can provide the date of confirmation, and based on the date of confirmation, the leave will keep attaching to the policies. So moving to the next part, accrual. So this is where you define how your leave policy or leave balance will be accrued to all your applicable employees. So we do have accrual types as yearly, monthly, half yearly, etc., etc. Based on the leave policy that you define, you will be able to provide it here. So generally, one-time accrual is used in cases of maternity, paternity, or any experience-based leave types. So you can define the period exactly when the leave should be credited and the amount of leave that has to be credited and whether it has to be credited in the current accrual or in the next accrual. So for concepts of earned leave or privileged leave, where you work in the current year or in the current month and you get the accrual in the next period or in the next year. So in such cases, you can make use of this concept called next accrual. So let us assume a leave policy which credits a leave of 1 day on the birthday of an employee. So in that case, you can define the accrual as yearly on his joining date and on his birth date and on his birth month. So in this case, one day of leave balance will be credited to all the employees on their respective birthdays. Take another example where you define or where you credit the leave balance based on the joining date of an employee. So you can provide joining date and joining month. So the leave balance will be credited to all the employees only on their date of joining every year. So moving to the next item called reset. So you can define whether the leave balance that is being credited to the employee should be resetted at a particular or set frequency. So say it's an annual leave of 12 days which is being credited on Jan 1. So you can define the same balance has to be resetted yearly on the last day of December. So if you have a carry forward option which is to be enabled, so you can provide the carry forward amount and then the encashment option as well. So say of 12 days that you provide to your employee, the remaining balance is 10 days. So whether the 10 days of leave balance should be carry forwarded or should be encashed or should be resetted can be defined here. So assume a case I have 12 days of accrual to all the employees and reset as yearly last day December and carry forward with some expiry, carry forward of 5 units which will expire in 3 months and encashment of 5 units. So in this case, say employee have not used any of the leave balance and the remaining balance is 12 days. So 5 days will be carry forwarded to the next year. 5 days will be encashed for that employee and the remaining 2 days will be lapsed on December 31st. So we do have 3 modes of carry forward options here. So if you wish to provide a basic carry forward, you'll be able to provide that. So if you have an expiry for that carry forwarded leave balance, you can make use of this carry forward with expiry option, and another option where you can accumulate your carry forwarded leave balance to a set overall limit. So let us have a quick look on how these 3 options will function. So take an example where the accrual is 12 days yearly and reset is on last day of year and carry forward is set as 5 units and date of joining of an employee is 2019 Jan 1. So in this case 12 days will be credited on 1 Jan 2019 and 5 days from 2019 will be carry forwarded to the 2020. So in that way the accrual amount of 12 days for the current year and 5 days of carry forward from the previous year will keep accumulating and will be credited to the employee. Next case where you define carry forward with expiry. So in this case you define accrual of 12 days yearly, a reset on 31st of December and carry forward of 5 units with an expiry of 3 months. So in this case also we assume the date of joining as 1 Jan 2019. So 12 days will be credited on his date of joining. Again next year Jan 1 2020 he'll be credited with 12 days and 5 days from the previous year will be carry forwarded. And this 5 days will be expired on March 31st unless the employee uses it. So that keeps repeating. And then going to the third mode of carry forward where you define the carry forward as 5 units and the overall carry forward limit as 10 units. So in that case on Jan 1 he'll get a credit of 12 days and in 2020 he'll be getting a credit of 12 days plus the 5 days which is brought forward from previous year, and in 2021 he'll be getting a leave balance 12 as usual and 5 days from the previous year which is 2020 and 5 days from 2019. So in this way you can accumulate your overall carry forward limit from the previous years with a set overall carry forward limit. So in 2022 we will not be able to accumulate more than 10 days of carry forward. So that is the reason why we can't bring forward the previous year balance and it will be restricted only to 2019 balance and 2020 balance. And it keeps repeating as usual. So going back, we do have an option called proration. So most of the HRs or most of the companies would want to prorate the leave balance of an employee based on his date of joining. So we do have 4 modes of proration. So one is start of policy proration, start and end of policy proration, do not prorate option, and another option to disable the prorate accrual option. So let us see what each activity or what each mode represents. So assume the case start of policy proration. So in this case, the employee is joining in between the accrual period. Say we assume the accrual period here as yearly, and employee is joining somewhere in between the year, say July 1, 2020. So in this case, his leave balance will be prorated based on the effective number of months or effective number of days that he's going to serve. So say it's a yearly accrual of 12 days and he joins on July 1st, 2020. So he'll be credited only with 6 days of leave balance, but not 12 days. The second mode is start and end of policy. So where say an employee is joining in between the year and exiting in between the year. So in both the cases, the leave balance will be prorated and it will be provided based on the date of joining or date of exit. Another mode is do not prorate. So although an employee joins in between the year, so we will credit the full amount without prorating any leave balance. So any employee who joins in Jan and who joins in December will get the same amount of leave balance. So by disabling the proration option, we strictly credit the leave balance only on the defined dates of accrual. So say an employee is joining in between the year. So for that particular year, we will not credit any leave balance to that employee. Instead, we'll credit or we'll start crediting the leave balance only from the next accrual year. So these are the modes of proration that we do have. So we can set an opening balance for each policy. So this is usually used in cases of probation employees where you can define a certain number of days which has to be provided as an opening balance for that particular employees. Another setting we do have is maximum balance. So in this case, you can provide a maximum balance, say 42. So anything beyond 42 will not be credited to the employee. So the accrual, the max cap of that leave policy will be strictly based to 42 days only. So we already saw the proration concept. So under proration, we do have a set of advanced options. So whether the leave balance should be prorated based on effective days or effective months that he's going to serve. And then the round off concept. So this prorated amount, whether it should be rounded off to the nearest or minimum or maximum day or half day or a quarter day. So this is a simple math which is explicit. And then we do have the first month rule and also the last month rule when you enable the start and end of policy. So in this case, you will be able to define a specific rule for the first joining month and for the exit month. So say an employee who has joined in between 1st to 15th of a month can be provided with 3 days, and an employee who joined in between 16 to last day of a month can be provided with 1.5 days. The same applies with exit month as well. So in this case, it should be 1.5 days as they're going to serve only for the first 15 days, and then 3 days if their date of exit is going to be in between 16 to 31st. So in this way, you can make sure your employees are getting a right amount of leave balance based on their date of joining or date of exit. So another option we do have under more options are deductible holidays. So this is actually used to support the UK compliance for annual leave. So where the leave balance that is provided is inclusive of the bank holidays that an employee is applicable to. So say it's an annual leave of 28 days on an yearly basis. So if you enable the option deductible holidays, so this 28 days is going to be inclusive of bank holidays. So say an employee is provided with 28 days and he's having 8 days of applicable holidays. So only 20 days will be the bookable leave, whereas the rest 8 days will be auto deducted based on the holidays that the employee is tagged to. So in that way, you can define multiple policies based on the effective after, and based on the accrual variations. So moving to the next topic, applicable part. So you can make use of this applicable section in order to define the applicability criteria for a respective leave type. Say we do have fields such as gender, marital status, department, and the custom fields that we have from employee form as well. So using all these criteria, you can define the applicability, and if you have any exceptions from the defined applicability, you'll be able to define it here. Going to the restrictions part. So we do have certain set of restrictions which can be defined for a respective leave type. So you might be aware of sandwich leave policy, where the weekends or holidays should be included, whether they should be included or excluded as leave based on the days that they are going to apply. So say you're going to apply a leave from Friday to Monday of a month. So in between, we do have weekends on Saturday and Sunday. So whether those weekends should be considered as leave and the leave balance should be deducted, or it should not be considered, can be defined here. So same applies with holiday as well. So if you have, if you want to enable this option based on the number of leave days, you can very well define it here. So while applying a leave, whether you want to restrict your employees to the strict leave balance that they do have, or you don't want to have any restriction and you can allow it beyond the permitted limit, can be defined here. So if you have an option allow without any limit, so say an employee is credited with 12 days, he'll be able to take any number of days beyond 12 as well. So if it is until year end limit, say it's a monthly leave type with 1 day per month, by the end of the year he'll be accumulated with 12 days, but in Jan month itself he'll be able to avail all the 12 days. So this option will allow the employees to take the leave balance till the year end limit. Another option we do have is allow without any limit but mark the excess request as LOP. So say I have 5 days of remaining leave balance and I try to apply a leave application for 10 days. So 5 days will be deducted from my available balance and the remaining 5 days will be marked as LOP. And you have an option not to allow beyond the permitted limit. So only employees can take the leave based on their available balance alone. So how the leave should be booked, whether it should be restricted to a full day or even half day can be allowed, or quarter day or hourly logging is also allowed, can be defined here. So in based on the report configurations, so whether the users can view the entire leave summary or simple leave summary or leave taken alone can be provided here. So based on this setting that we have, we will either show or hide the view history or the entire leave transactions that an employee has with respect to this leave type. We do have another option called balance to be displayed, whether it is going to be a current day balance or the accrual period balance. Say you define it as current day balance, so your leave balance as on the current date alone will be calculated and it will be displayed. If it is an accrual period balance, your leave balance as on the current date minus the leave that you have taken in the future days will be calculated, and leave balance, only the remaining leave balance will be projected in all the reports and in the views. So if you have any restrictions to restrict the leave applications for the past or future days, you can define it under this section. And if you restrict it, like how many days in the past and how many days in the future can also be defined here. So other restrictions such as the minimum and the maximum leave that you can take for a particular application or a particular leave record can be defined here. So the maximum number of consecutive days of leaves that are allowed can also be defined. So if you need any gap in between the leave applications, you can enable this option and you can provide the minimum gap that you need in terms of days. So say you want your employees to upload their medical certificate if they are going on any sick leave or medical leave. So you can enable this option and you can provide the days beyond which the leave, if the leave is going to exceed, they should be uploading a file or a medical certificate. So if you have a restriction like to allow only a certain number of leave applications within a specific period, you can define it here. Say it's 2 per job tenure. It's a maternity where you want to restrict your employees to take only 2 leave applications, 2 maternity leaves in their entire job tenure. So you can define it here. So this leave can be applied only on a specific days that we do have. So say there is an example like birthday leave. So I'll be provided with my birthday leave balance on my birthday, and in order to restrict the employees to avail that leave only on their respective birthdays, you can enable this option and you can provide the birthday here, so that employees should be strictly availing the leave only on their birthdays. In addition to the birthday, we do have all the date fields from the employee form here. So based on your requirement, you'll be able to configure this setting. If there is a clubbing policy in between the leaves, like sick leave and casual leave should not be clubbed. So you can define that here. So system will not allow the employees to log a sick leave clubbed with a casual leave. So this is how you generally configure a leave type based on your company's leave policy. So we do have hourly leave configuration as well. So it's going to be pretty same, where the units, the only difference will be the units which you are going to define. So all the entitlement also should be provided in terms of hours, and rest of the applicability and restrictions will remain the same. We do have a filter here in order to know the active and the deleted leave types as well. So if you have any deleted leave types in your account, you will always be able to restore them. So you can also, you'll not lose the data. So we do have another feasibility in order to push the absence data from your attendance module to the leave module. So we do have an option here in order to run a schedule for a particular day or for a specified day, and to push those absence records into the leave module, so that in leave module, when I see my absent record, I can just quickly convert that absence to any respective leave type. So in this way, you can make sure your attendance and leave activity is on track. Going back to leave module, so we do have a general set of general settings which you can configure. So we already saw the including the weekend or holiday setting in a leave type configuration. So there it is specific, or it is based on one particular leave type. But if you do have a combination of leave types, so this is where you can configure it. So number of consecutive days after which the holiday or leave or weekend in between the leave should be considered. So you can define various combinations of leave types here, and you can use the setting. Moving to the next topic called compensatory off. So you do have an option in order to convert your overtime that you log into the system into a paid leave called compensatory off. So you can have a mode of compensatory as automatic one. So where the automatic comp off will run on a weekend or a holiday, and it will convert all your overtime into compensatory leave. Or you can enable the manual way, where employees will have to go record their compensatory off, and the balance will be credited to such employees. Or you can have an option to allow both the ways. So if you wish to disable the compensatory off, you can very well do it. So another setting, if you wish to allow the compensatory off for the future days or not, can also be defined here. A multiplying factor in order to provide the leave balance into your compensatory off can be defined here. So say your leave balance to be credited when work is done on a weekend. It is 1 day say you're going to provide 2 days of leave when work is done on a holiday. So you can define your multiplying factor here. If you do have any expiry, say the credited comp off should expire within 1 month. So you can define it here, 30 days, etc. If you leave this blank, so we will automatically assume the expiry date as the current calendar year end. You can define whether the compensatory off can be logged in terms of days or hours, and what duration should be allowed, and whether the user can provide a time input, the exact time range when he has worked the overtime. So that can be provided using these options. Moving on to the report permissions and report settings. So we do have a report called user availability report, which is generally used in terms of planning your team or planning your resources. So whether the visibility of that needs to be based on the employee, all the data to the admin, or to all the users, or only to the department head, or to all the department members, can be defined here. So if you wish to have payroll processing, and if you wish to enable your payroll report, you can enable the payroll report here. And whether the weekends and holidays has to be included in that payroll processing or not can be enabled or disabled in these settings. Next, under the LOP report, whether the unpaid leave. So we did see the already. So whether it is going to be paid or unpaid or etc. So whether that has to be marked as loss of pay or whether that has to be carried over to the next pay period can be defined here. So if it is marked as loss of pay, so in the current pay period, say it is a monthly pay period, so in the current month, those LOP days will be deducted and you can pay your employees accordingly. Or whether it has to be carried over to the next pay period, which means you can based on the leave balance that the employee is going to get in the next pay period will be adjusted, and he will not be deducted for the current month's loss of pay. So you can have a maximum LOP count that can be allowed based on your company settings. And then the export settings, like whether the password protection is required while exporting any of the reports or not, can be defined here. And if the reason for leave cancellation is mandatory or not can also be provided. So leave cancellation in Zoho People will usually work in a way where the employees can cancel their leaves for the current and for the future days at any point of time. But for the past dated leaves, only the admin or the approving authority will be able to cancel the leaves. So this is basically the leave configuration and settings which we discussed. So moving to the next category, like data operations, where we define a holiday, where we set up the holiday based on locations or shifts, and then customizing the leave policy with specific to an employee, customizing the leave balance with respect to a particular employee, and defining a exceptional working day. So let us have a look at it in the module. So in leave module, we do have a concept called holidays. So you can add any number of holidays in your account, and you can define the holiday date. You can define a range of dates as well. Whether it is going to be a full day holiday or a particular half or a particular session of a day can be defined here, and whether this holiday is going to be a restricted holiday or optional holiday, which means the employees will have to request for this holiday and only then they'll be able to avail it. So you can define the applicable locations or applicable shifts to which this holiday is being applicable to. If you have any description for that holiday, you can add it. If you wish to notify your employees, or if you wish to send any reminders before a certain number of days, you can define it here. And another option which we do have is called as reprocessing the leave applications based on the added or edited or deleted holiday. So let us assume your organization has already defined a specific holiday. For example, take Ramzan as May 10th. So employees will keep availing for that holiday. So now, based on the moon cycle, say they have moved the holiday from May 10th to May 11th. So in order to make sure the leave applications are right, so we can do a reprocess of leave applications so that all the leave applications will be re-triggered once again and your leave balance will be adjusted accordingly. So employees who have taken leave on May 11th earlier will not be deducted with leave. Instead, they'll be credited with leave in return. So so this is about the reprocessing of leave application concept. Say you do have a certain employees who are working in say India location but working in US shift. So you can very well define the holiday for such employees also. So in that case, the shift based holidays will actually override the location based holidays. So the employee who is working in US shift will be, although he's working in India location, he'll be provided with US shift holidays. So this is how you generally define your holiday. You do have an option to import the holidays in a specified import format. So whether you can provide the name of the holiday from date to date, the locations and the shifts that are applicable, the description, and whether it is a restricted holiday or not, and whether the reminder has to be sent or not, etc. can be provided, and you can import that file very easily. We do have another option to import the ICS file and download it, download the existing holidays as ICS file. So you can have an export from here and you can import it in your work calendar. So this is about the holiday definition. And then the customized policy. So we do have a concept called customized policy. So although leave type is defined for the entire organization or for the entire set of people who are applicable to, but still we do have a concept called customized policy where we create the instances for each and every employee with respect to the leave types. So say there's an employee, Alex Parker. For all the employees, annual leave is credited based on, for the first year, it is going to be 18 days, and for the next 2 years, it is going to be 22 days. Instead, you can provide 22 days for this employee from day one. So this sort of customization with respective to this particular employee alone can be done here. So you can tailor your leave policy based on the employees. Then an option to customize your leave balance where you can provide the leave balance to a particular employee. So say for this employee, Alice Parker. So her annual leave balance is 18 days as on the current date. But if you wish to provide an excess of 2 days, so you can just give the new balance that you wish to provide. And you can provide the reason why you're going to provide this extra balance. So the same will be reflected in the reports or in the transaction as well. So you can just submit that. So this customized balance option is mostly used in case where the HR, where the companies switch from a different HRMS tool to Zoho People. So in such cases, it will be very easy to provide the balance or to start the leave module as a fresh item. We do have another option called exceptional working day, which you can define in order to make a specific weekend as a working day for a certain set of employees. So say I have a working day day. So employees will have to work on that particular day, else employees will be marked as absent. So this is about the data operations that we do have in leave module. Going to the automation part, we do support the form customization. So you can alter your leave application the way you require. and then you can define the form permissions for each and every field that you do have. You can define the approvals, whether it is going to be a single level approver or multi-level approver based on the criteria, etc. And you can define workflows like reminding the employee or reminding the reporting manager based on like leave cancellation, or when an employee is going to apply leave, you can remind the entire department or entire team he's working into. We do have an option to sync your leave and holiday data into your Google and Office 365 calendars as well. Going to the next topic, like leave self-service. So we shall quickly have a look at how to use the leave self-service or leave dashboard in Zoho People product. So this is the leave dashboard for a specific employee. So all the leave types which are applicable to this particular employee will be listed here, and this is the calendar cycle in which he's falling into. You can toggle between the other employees as well in order to view their leave dashboard. So we shall quickly check like how to apply leave. So once you click on apply leave, you'll be able to define, or you'll be able to select a particular leave type. You can define the range of the days for which you wish to apply the leave. So now you'll be able to get a clear picture on what is your leave balance as on the particular date you're going to apply your leave, and what is the current booking. Like I'm trying to apply for 1 day, so the current booking value is 1. So now I apply leave from 13th May to 14th May, so the current booking is 2 days, and the balance after the booked leave will be changed to 8 days. So once you click here, you'll be able to know like how the balance is going to be changed after this booking. So this way you will be able to know the detailed transaction on how your leave balance is going to be changed. And as on the end of the calendar period, what is your estimated balance? So even that can be viewed here. Once you click on the report, you will have a detailed report on what is your leave taken and available balance for all the day-based and hour-based leave types. So you can plan your leave accordingly. You can provide a team email ID if you wish to notify the entire team, and a reason. And you can submit it. So the same will be going through an approval process. So we do have another functionality like who else are on leave on that particular date range. So from your team, if there are any other employees who are also on leave on that specified date range, will be able to view here. So the reporting authorities or the approving authorities will can have a look at it, and then they can plan their leave activity, whether to approve this person's leave or not can be decided. So this is how we generally book a leave. In order to convert all your absence to a particular leave, you can just click on convert leave, and you can convert your absence into any specific leave type that you wish. So we do have a list of leave applications that you have defined, and we do have a segregation like upcoming and history. So where all the leave applications and the holidays that are applicable to the respective employee will be listed here, along with the reason for which they have availed the leave and the approval status as well. So moving to the calendar view, we do have a calendar view in order to see the entire leave activity of a respective user. You can even switch between the users in order to know their activity. So in leave calendar, we do have the leave activity, and the weekend definition will be represented in this color coding. So you can even switch to the leave application by just clicking on that particular label. So if you wish to see the entire department leave activity, you can just click on department view. So you'll be able to see all the people who have availed leave on a specific day. So say on May 18th, Monday, so there are 4 people who have availed leave. So classification based on the leave type will be provided here. So you can plan your resources and you can plan your work activity accordingly. We do have all the list of leave applications that are applied or that are logged into the Zoho people. So you can have an export and import of the same as well. You will have to provide the data as per the specified format that you have. So you can just click on download a sample report for import and you can just have a look at it. Now moving on to the compensatory off. So as I already told, you'll be able to convert your overtime that you have done on a particular weekend or holiday or on a weekday into the comp of leave type. So say an employee has worked overtime on a specific day, say on 3rd May. So it was a weekend actually, but he did work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., which is 13 along with 1 hour of paid break. So the overtime that is being logged is 13 hours. So the employee can very well add a compensatory request for this day, and once when this is approved, he'll be able to avail the compensatory off leave. So for weekends and for holidays, you can avail the compensatory in units of days, but for weekdays, you can avail the compensatory off or you can apply for a compensatory off only in terms of hours. And then talking about the leave reports. So it's a great way to analyze the employee leave behavior. So we do, starting with the user report, we do have user report based on a specific employee, and the current day balance of all the leave types will be listed here. So the same can be viewed for day based and hour based leaves as well. So you can switch in between the chart view. So here you will have a chart representation of the same available and taken leave data. So you do have an option to print this data. Moving on to the next report, user availability report. So this report is actually used in terms of planning your department activity or planning your team activity in an efficient way. So you'll be able to see who are the employees who have availed a planned leave, and you can plan your activity accordingly. You do have a legend on in order to know which leave representation defines which category. You do have an option to export and download or print the same report as well. Going to the daily report. So based on a particular day, you can have a classification like how many employees have availed a specific leave type. So that you will get a clear picture on who are on leave and what leave the employees have taken on a particular day. So if you wish, you can even have a look at it in the tabular view as well. So going to the next report, balance report. So here you'll be able to view the leave taken and balance report, balance data for all the leave types with respect to the employee. You have an option to export this data and print and download as PDF as well. So the day-based leave types will be listed in the day view, and to view the hour-based leave types, you can have a look at hourly view. Moving to the next report, summary report. So this report is actually based on a specific leave type. So for annual leave, what is the opening balance for all the employees? What is the balance that is being granted? And what is the balance that they have availed? And the closing balance at the end of the year. And if there is any lapsed account, can be viewed here. You do have an option to export, print, and download as well. Moving to the next report, LOP. So this LOP report and payroll report are very much useful in terms of payroll processing. So the LOP data will be can be captured here. If you wish to make any adjustment to your LOP based on employees specific given conditions, you'll be able to do a modification, or you'll be able to give a LOP adjustment and provide a reason why you're doing an LOP adjustment. If there are any ad hoc changes, you can always click on the regenerate report. So once again, the LOP data will be recalculated based on the pay period that you have defined. So this LOP data will be referred in the payroll report, and finally we will get a total number of days that are in a particular pay period, and the loss of pay days and the paid days which are to be paid. So the total days minus loss of pay days will always give the paid days. So these reports will be useful in terms of doing your payroll processing. So talking about the roadmap for leave module, so we are having a plan of handling the part-time staff in order to support the UK leave compliance. So we do have a plan of providing contract hours on employee basis and and linking that contract hours with the leave balance to be credited. So another item which we do have in roadmap is Bradford scoring. So in order to measure the absenteeism for a respective employee, we do have this scoring. And another feature called leave grant, so which will be functioning based on request grant basis. So say it's a maternity or paternity leave, so once you request for that maternity or paternity leave, the leave balance will be credited and you can avail that leave. As of now, it is possible through some custom forms, so we do have a plan of bringing it as a system feature as well. Another feature which we do have in our list is manual leave encashment. So we do support automatic leave encashment as of now based on the leave configuration that you do. So we do have plans of supporting the manual way as well. And leave credit based on the attendance or worked hours. So based on your attendance activity, we can provide the leave balance to the respective employee. So that is the item which we do have in our pipeline. And last item which we do have is supporting the analytics for leave data. So we do have a certain set of reports already defined in the system. So in addition to the reports, we want to provide a flexibility to the HRs or admins so they can configure their own reports and they can use it for their own purposes. So this is all about the leave module. So moving on to the attendance module. So we shall have a look at the attendance basic configuration and the settings that we can define. The self-service activity like logging your attendance, break, viewing your calendar or tabular views, and then the reports. And we can have a look at the shift management, like how to define the shifts, how to import the shifts, how to map the shifts to a respective users, shift rotation, shift calendar, etc., etc. And then finally the module roadmap. So the basic attendance configuration or settings will include the general settings like working hours definition, the permissions that you can define, the regularization activity, and biometric integration, which we support, user ID mapping in order to support the biometric integration, absence schedule in order to automate or in order to notify your employees about their absence, and any IP or geo restrictions can be defined. Let us have a look like how to configure these in the module. So going to the attendance module, you can click on settings, general settings. So you can here define like when the actual settings has to be effective from. So here you can generally provide the date from which you started your Zoho People attendance module. So all the reports or all the calculations will be effective from this specified date. If you wish to say you haven't defined any particular shift to certain set of employees, so by default we assume the shift that is provided here as the default shift for such employees unless they are tagged to a certain shift. Moving to the working hours calculations, so whether the total hours should be assuming every valid check-in checkout or whether it should consider only the first check-in and the last checkout and it should calculate the total hours can be defined here. And if you wish to set, or if you wish to provide any minimum hours required for a day based on a strict mode or based on a lenient mode, can be defined. Based on strict mode, if you wish to provide a manual input, you can provide a full day setting, and if you wish to restrict it to the shift hours, you can provide it here. So say an employee is assigned with a shift of 9 to 6. In that case, his actual full day is 9 hours and half day is 4.5 hours. But instead, you wish to give a manual input saying his minimum hours required for a full day is enough to be 8 hours and half day is enough to be 4 hours. So this option can be given. If you strictly want to restrict it to the shift hours, you can provide the shift hours restriction here. So under the lenient mode, you can provide both the manual input and again the shift hours for a particular day as well. So whether on a particular day, if you wish to configure or if you wish to capture the overtime or the deviation time that is being done by an employee, you can enable this show overtime or deviation time. So the same will be reflected in the tabular view and in the reports as well. So an employee, assume he's working from 9 to 6, and he's actually supposed to work from 9 to 6, but he has worked from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. So in that case, the additional 4 hours is the overtime that he has done. So the same can be viewed or depicted in the reports based on the setting that you provide here. The maximum hours required for a particular day can be configured. So if you wish, if you want to restrict your employees from logging for more than a specified hours per particular day, you can have this option enabled and you can define the maximum hours that you want to restrict to. We do have an option called round off. So say, for example, I want to round off my first check-in to 10 minutes, last checkout to 10 minutes, and work the hours to 15 minutes. So in this case, assume my shift is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. All the check-in entries from 9:01 to 9:10 will be rounded off to 9 a.m. and all the checkouts from 5:50 to 5:59 will be rounded off to 6 p.m. And when the work hours is given as 15 minutes, so all the if my entire work hours is going to be 8:46 to 8:59, so that will be rounded off to 9 hours based on my shift configuration. So we do have a report called summary report under attendance, so where we provide the pay days or pay hours. So whether the weekends or statutory weekends or non-statutory weekends, holidays, leave has to be included or excluded from that report can be provided here. So say your company will strictly include only the weekends but not any other data. So you can just exclude or disable these options. So only the weekends will be included in that pay calculation. So say you want to track the late night work that is being done by a respective employee as a separate entity. So you can enable this option, and you can provide the respective location to which this setting is being enabled, and then the exact date, exact time which you wish to define as the late night working hours. So say in this case, I define the late night working hours for Chennai location as 8 p.m. to 3 p.m. 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. So in this case, any work that is being done in between this time will be considered as the late night work, and in the reports also we'll be able to view this entity as a separate entity. This is actually used in case of say you want to pay extra for the employees who are working in this overtime, so you'll be able to have the data separately so you can process your payroll accordingly. We do have a certain set of permissions, whether the web check-in is allowed or not, whether the mobile check-in is allowed or not, so you can define it here, and whether you want to make the location sharing as mandatory for web check-in and for the mobile check-in can be provided here. So in the attendance list view, if you wish to show all the check-in and check-out entries, you can enable this option. If it is disabled, only the first check-in and the last check-out will be shown. So if you as a manager, if you wish to view your reportees entries, you can enable this option. If you wish to edit their reportees entries, you can enable this option. So whenever such edition of the reportees entries are being done, so you can notify a respective email ID by providing this option here. If you wish your employees to edit their own attendance entries, you can provide the option here. And if you wish the notification has to be sent to a respective person or a reporting manager, you can allow this notify reporting manager option as well. So you can define whether the attendance report page or whether the balance overtime report has to be strictly shown only to the reporting manager or only to the user or only to the administrator. You can define it based on your settings that you define here. If you want to see the exact location from which the employee has checked in or checked out, you can enable this option. So the exact location from which he did a punch can be captured in the system, and the same can be viewed as well. So talking about the shift setting, we shall see this settings while talking about the shift management. So we do have a concept called regularization. So this is actually used in cases where your attendance is being missed, like say you missed a punch or you forgot to check in or you forgot to check out. So in such cases, we will be capturing that as a regularization entry, and we will be adding these punches into the employees attendance. So if you wish to allow the regularization for the future days, you can enable this option. The number of days that you actually allow in order to regularize can be provided here. Say you define a regularization like 7 days per month can be allowed. So employee can raise any number of requests till 7. And if you have any period which is being set, say you define it as 7 days from the regularized date. So today, if you wish to regularize, so that regularization request can be raised within 7 days from the current date. If you want to provide any reason for regularization, you can have any customized reason in this way. And whether such regularized entries should be replacing the actual check-in checkout entries or whether that has to be added as a new check-in checkout entry can be defined here. So these settings which we defined remains applicable to all the employees, but if you wish to configure the settings based on a certain set of employees, based on user or based on shift specific, so you can add these user or shift specific settings, and you can define the variation in the settings or permissions that you define, and you can have it saved. So in addition to the settings that we already discussed, we do have a functionality called grace period policy. So based on your company's based on your company's grace policy, you'll be able to define the rules for say you want to say if an employee is late by 20 minutes. So if you wish to consider that as a deviation, you can enable this option and you can provide 20 minutes here, and three times per month. So say you have a grace rule defined in this way, where if an employee is late by 20 minutes or if an employee is exiting early by 20 minutes, so both the instances will be considered as deviation. And if such instances are beyond 3 per month, so what action has to be done can be defined here. So say I give a a grace period like 3 per month, and if an employee is deviating it on the fourth time, so the leave balance will be deducted from the employee's leave balance in this way. So say it has to be deducted from annual leave. So once when the annual leave balance is exhausted, so it will be considered as absent at the end. So this way you can define the grace deviations based on the check-in entry, check-out entry, and the total worked hours as well. So you can add multiple rules. So already I have defined my deviation based on check-in and check-out entry. So here you can define a working hours restriction. Say if it is less than half an hour, and if the deviation is 2 times a month, so you can define the punishment that needs to be applicable. So this is all about the user or shift specific settings. So if you have an approval enabled for the regularization concept, you can define a approval here with some set criteria if required any, and whether it is going to be a single level or any level of approvals along with the people who has to approve can be defined here. So talking about the biometric integration, so we do offer biometric integration or any attendance device integration in order to capture the attendance entries of all the employees. So you will be able to integrate your attendance device with Zoho People by making use of APIs. So in order to sync your device's attendance entries with employees' attendance records in Zoho People, so you need to have some common format between your device and your Zoho People account. So if you have your employee ID as the same mapper ID in your biometric device, so this is not required. But if it is going to be different, so you need to provide the mapper ID against each and every employee in Zoho People, so that a link or a connection will be established between the employee of Zoho People and the employee from the attendance or biometric device. So we do have certain set of prerequisites that are to be met in order to have this integration in place. And we do support MS SQL Server and MS Access and MySQL databases in order to have this integration in place. So if you wish to have a biometric integration, please do reach out to our support. So we can have a call and we can have this biometric integration in place. So along with the biometric integration, we do have a support like where you can automate your timesheet entries into the attendance modules as well. Say employees usually log their times for the respective jobs or projects, so the same can be converted into the attendance entries. So those timer entries will be pushed into the attendance modules as check-in and check-out as well. So we do have certain restrictions like IP and geo restrictions, which can be defined for the attendance modules. So using this, you can prevent your employees from logging in from somewhere out of the office. So you can define the IP from IP address and to IP address and the modules for which you want to enable this thing and the applicable criteria for the same. So say you have a applicable criteria as Mumbai location with department public relations. So all the people from Mumbai location and the department public relation will be applicable to this IP restriction. So if you wish to include some employees as exceptions, you can very well define it here. So in the same way, you'll be able to define the geo restriction as well. So you can add the geo restriction. So you can search for the particular location. and you can have it saved. So all the punches that we get from this defined geo restriction only will be considered as a valid punches, and the other entries from other than this location will be rejected, and we will not be capturing those entries. So in this way you can prevent your employees from recording your attendance activity away from the office. So going to the next item, the self-service and the reports of attendance module. So we can have a look at how to check in, how to check out, and how to log your break, and the attendance views, how to regularize your attendance, and the reports that we do have in attendance modules. So this is the basic self-service of attendance module for a respective employee. So you can switch in between the employees in order to see their attendance activity as well. So as this, you can provide a notes for a check-in or a checkout, and you can view your current day shift in this particular place, and current week shift in this particular place. If it is going to be the same, we will be viewing it here. We can click on this check-in or checkout timer, so the same attendance will be captured here. So for this particular day, so I have a check-in at 9 a.m. and a checkout at 6 p.m. So in this way we can have a quick view of all the check-in and the checkout entries for a particular day. So we do have a month view as well. So in order to see the entire attendance activity for a particular month, you can import or export these attendance entries as well. So import, you can provide the employee ID and the check-in date time and the checkout date time. So and you can export the same attendance entries as well. So if you wish to include every check-in and checkout entry, you can enable this option and you can have an export. And this export will be specific to the respective employee which you have selected. Moving on to the tabular view of attendance. So here you will be able to view the first check-in and last checkout for a respective day, employee specific, and the total hours that he has logged, and if there is any paid break and unpaid break, what are the payable hours that are defined as per the settings, and if there is any overtime or deviation that is being done for a particular day can be viewed here, and the exact status for a particular day can also be viewed, and the shift details, and whether he has raised any regularization, and the status of regularization can also be viewed. So you do have a week view and the month view in the tabular view as well. So the same attendance entries can be imported or exported even from this view. Moving on to the calendar view. So here you will be able to see the entire attendance, leave, holiday activity for a respective employee. So say this employee has a holiday on 1st of May and he has applied a leave on 4th of May and he's been marked as present on 5th of May. So in this way, you'll be able to see the holiday data this way and the defined weekend in a color code definition, and whether he's been marked as present or absent, and his first check-in and last checkout can also be seen by clicking on this tile. So moving on to the next view, overtime view. So based on a particular employee, whether he has done any overtime, the expected hours that he's been expected to work, and what are the payable hours that he is expected to be paid, and what are the paid hours and the adjustment hours, if any, can be viewed in this overtime view. So going to the regularization concept, so you can have a so you can click on add a request. You can regularize for a specific day or a week or a month or any custom range if you require. So say I want to regularize for 6th May. and provide a reason as forgot my ID card, and I can just quickly submit this thing. So it will go for an approval. So once when this is been approved, so this regularization entry will be added to my respective days attendance, so that we will not have any missing punches from the employee end. So the same regularization entries can be exported, they can be downloaded as PDF and can be printed as well. So all the requests that the employee is going to raise will be falling into my request tab, and all the approvals that he is yet to approve will be falling into my approvals tab. So moving on to the reports of attendance. So we do have a daily report in order to depict the entire day's attendance status for all the employees. So in the entire arc, the total users will give the exact count of people who are actually using the attendance module, and then the present count, and if anyone has availed on duty on that particular day will be provided under on duty tile, and if anyone has logged a paid leave, or if they are absent or unpaid leave, holidays, statutory or non-statutory weekends can be defined here, can be viewed here, sorry. So if there are any employees who are currently in, if you click on this in status, you will be knowing the people who are currently in as well. So you do have various filters here in order to filter out the data based on legal entities, business units, departments, locations, shifts, etc. So you'll be able to use this filter at any point of time. So moving on to the early or late bird report. Say there is an employee and his actual shift is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., but he has checked in early by 8 a.m. So in that case, 1 hour will be marked as uh, early entry, and if he is leaving early by 1 hour, so it will be marked as early exit as 1 hour. So in this way you'll be able to view the current day activity for all the employees, so you'll know who are exactly on time, who have logged in into the system, or who have come early, or who are going to leave soon. So you'll be having a better picture in this early or late bird report. Going to the next report, status report. So here you'll be having the entire attendance and leave status of all the employees. So by default, we'll be providing the all locations, all department data here. So you'll be able to see if an employee is on holiday, or if he is absent, or if he has taken any respective leave, or if it is a weekend based on this color definition. And we do have a legend over here in order to know which representation represents which leave type or which status of attendance. So this is also used in order to plan your team activity in an efficient way. Going to the next report, summary report. Here we will be having a better picture. Say I define the period as this current month, and I hit search. So for the entire May month, so these are the expected payable days, as we have 31 days in May month. So of which we can define the payable days. So this payable days, whether it has to include the worked days paid off or not, these can be defined in the settings which we saw earlier. So in this way, you'll be able to view the payable days, expected working days, worked days, the paid off, the unpaid off based on the leave type configuration, and if there is any weekend activity, even that can be viewed here. So if an employee has done any overtime, even that will be logged, that will be captured here. You can make use of this in order to do your payroll processing. So we do support export and download and print option for this report as well. Going to the user report. So here we do have the same first check-in, last checkout of an employee, his total hours and payable hours, and the status of that particular respective day, and the shift into which he is falling into. So you will be able to export this report, and you can include all the user entries as well. So if you wish to import a bulk data, say for the entire location of New York, you'll be able to export it in one go. So this will be mostly useful in cases of audit, etc. Going to the next report, overtime report. So here you'll be able to get the exact overtime that is being captured based on the pay period that you have defined earlier. So based on the pay period configuration, so we'll be listing all the employees and their expected hours and the payable hours and the balance hours as a defined entity. You do have an option to import the data, export the data, download as PDF, and in order to print the data as well. So these are the reports that we do have in terms of attendance module. So moving on to the shift management. So we shall have a quick look on how to add or import the shifts and how to map the shifts for a respective employee or a set of employees, how to schedule the shift through using a calendar, and the rotation concept of shift in order to automate the shift settings, and then the break definition. So let us have a quick look like how to configure this shift management in the product. So you can click on this shift schedule. So where you would find the shift details here. So you can click on add shift. You can give a specific name to the shift and any color code. So you will be able to use this color code in order to differentiate while configuring a shift to a respective user using the shift calendar, the exact from time and the to time of this particular shift. So in this case, say 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. is my shift. If you do have any shift margin which you wish to define, you'll be able to provide it here. So in this case, assume so I enable my shift margin here, and I define 1 hour before the shift start and 1 hour after the shift end as a shift margin. So in this case, my actual shift is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., but the shift margin will be bound to 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So this bound, so any attendance entries within this shift margin bound will be considered for the payable hours calculation. So here you can see all the check-in and check-out entries only within 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. will be considered as payable hours. So any entries beyond the shift margin also will be recorded into the system. However, we will not consider them for the payable hours calculation. And then you can define the weekend for a specific shift, whether they are going to be a location based weekend or a shift based weekend. So as we already discussed, say there is an employee who is working in India location under US shift, so you can have an option in so that such employees will be having a weekend based on the shift but not based on the location. So you can very well define the weekend definition here by just checking all the days of a week as a weekend. If you wish to provide any allowance for a specific shift, you'll be able to provide it here, and the exact rate per a day can be provided here as well. So the same can be used while payroll processing. So this is how you generally add a shift. We do support import of shift as well. So for the shift import, you will have to follow this specific pattern that we provided here. So the shift name, the from time, the to time, the weekend options, whether it is going to be a shift based weekend or a location based weekend, and then the exact days where where the days should be considered as weekend, etc., and whether you have a specific allowance for the shift, if the shift margin is enabled or not, and if it is enabled, what is the exact shift margin that is to be defined, like how many hours before the shift start and how many hours before after the shift end can be provided while giving it in the import. So this is how you generally add or import the shifts. After you add or import your shifts, now you will have to map your employees to the respective shift. So click on assign shift and you can select the applicable for criteria, say the location as Mumbai location, and I give a shift name as UAE, for example. UAE, and then the shift name as UAE and the date as 1 to 31st May. So in this case, all the people from UAE location at the current moment will be picked and will be mapped with UAE shift for the entire month of May. So if say you are going to do this mapping activity in between the month, but you want this change to be effective from the start of the month, so you can click on update the past attendance entries, so that your attendance status will be recalculated based on the current shift that is being mapped. So you can click on submit. So all the employees will be tagged to the respective shift or that you have provided. We do have an import option for this as well. So you can have the shift name, the from date, and the to date, and the employee ID here in order to map this particular shift to the respective employee for the defined period. We do have two ways of importing. One is shift wise import and the other one is employee wise import. So for a respective employee for the entire month, you will be able to provide every day of a month as a column, and you can define a specific shift. So say for example, this employee ZCon 001 is falling in UK shift on 1st May, UAE shift on 2nd May, Australia shift on 3rd May. So you'll be able to define in this way for the entire month. So maximum of 31 days can be provided as columns here. So you can download a sample template in order to import the shifts as well. Then going to the shift calendar, here you will be able to view the employee and the respective shift which he is already tagged into. So if you wish to change it, you can just click on the shift detail and you can just change the shift right in the calendar. So this is actually used in cases where you wish to manage your team effectively, so you can have an overall look like who are falling into which particular shift and you can plan your activity. So again, the same assigning shift can be provided even from this shift calendar. So you do have an option to import the shift as well. So based on week and based on the day also, we'll be able to have a view. So this color representation will be helpful in order to manage the data properly. So going to the next concept called shift rotation. So so far we have seen manual way of adding shifts and manual way of mapping those to the employees, but we do have one way where you can automate this shift concept. So say you define a particular frequency at which the shift keeps rotating for the employees. Say for this current month I will be under UK shift, and in the next month I'm going to work in general shift. So in that case, I not manually update my shift for the current month as UK shift and for the next month as general shift. So if it is going to follow a certain pattern, you can define it here. So say on a monthly basis, say on 26th of the current month, the shift has to be changed for the next entire month. So you can define such applicability of the, say for manager role, you want to have the shift rotation in place. So you can define the rotation pattern here. So UK shift will be rotated with general shift. On this particular day of 26, we'll check the employees who are following in UK shift, and we'll be assigning the general shift to such employees, and the general shift employees will be switching to the summer class shift that is being defined. So in this way you can define a shift rotation. One drawback which we do have in this shift rotation concept is we'll not be able to project, or will not be able to view the shifts that an employee is being tagged for the future dates. Other than that, you'll be able to have this automation in place, so manual intervention is not required. So going to the next topic called break. So you can define the break definition in Zoho People based on your company's attendance policy. So you can just click on add break, provide a name and the color code in order to identify it in attendance view, and the respective icon which you wish to provide for a respective break, and whether it is a paid break or an unpaid break, so that this will be useful while calculating the working hours and payable hours for a respective employee, and the mode in which this break has to be availed, whether it has to be an automatic mode or a manual mode can be provided here. So if it is an automatic mode, you will have to provide the start time and end time of the break as a mandatory option. So say define a break from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. say as a lunch break. So automatically for the applicable shifts, say Australia and UAE, so for these two shift employees, automatically break will be logged from this specified time as 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Overall as 1 hour. So, and it as it is defined as unpaid, so this will be this will be categorized under unpaid break column in all the reports that we have seen already. Say you wish to give a manual mode of capturing this break, so you can provide the start time and end time, say 10:30 a.m. 10:45 a.m. and another break at 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. So in this case, with a maximum allowed duration of 45 minutes. Okay. So in this case, you have provided a start time and end time for a morning break, and then another break at 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. So employees can go manually request for the break in this specified start and end time. So if you don't define any time here, so based on this allowed duration, employees will be able to avail this break any time in between their shift duration. So if you wish to automatically mark the breaks based on their check-in or check-out entries, you can enable this option. So even the manual intervention is not required in this mode. So this is how you generally configure the breaks, and you'll be able to filter out the break based on the pay type or based on the modes, how they're going to avail it, and based on the shifts that you have defined. So you can have a look like how to capture this break in system. So you can click on this break, and you can, as you can see, so I do have a break called lunch break for 60 minutes, and which is allowed strictly between 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. So if I try to avail this break, it wouldn't allow me because it has to be availed only during the specified timing. So say I do have another break called 30 minutes snack break, which I can avail at any point of time. So after I'll be able to avail this break, and once when I'm done with the break, I can just resume to work. The same will be captured here as well. And if you see here, we do have a regularized status in this view. So these are the check-in check-out entries which I make generally like manually through web check-in or mobile check-in, but this is the check-in check-out entry which is being added through regularization. So the existing data and the modified data will be depicted here. And earlier I was actually marked as absent, but now due to this regularization I am marked as present. So this data can be viewed here in the views. So this is how we generally do the shift management in Zoho People. So talking about the roadmap for attendance module, so we do have plan of implementing the on duty and work from home concept in attendance module. As of now, we do allow this in leave module by applying a manual leave application. So instead, we do have a plan to bring in attendance module so they can log their attendance activity as on duty or work from home. Another item we do have in plan is marking a certain set of employees as default present. So say there are certain set of employees like directors or managers, etc., for whom attendance is not required to be captured. So by default, we'll mark them as present based on this feature. Another item which we do have in plan is shift patterns or shift rostering. So now the shifts that we do have are based on a static way, like manual way of adding shifts and then mapping them to the employees. Instead, we have a plan of bringing a shift pattern, so where you define the patterns and then map that pattern to the respective employee, so which will make the shift rostering very simple. Another item which we have is excluding certain employees from tracking. So say CEO or MD of a respective organization need not do any attendance logging activity. So he just need to view the reports and he just need to manage the data. In that case, we can have an exclude option. So we can exclude certain set of employees from that attendance module. Another item is attendance based on facial recognition. So this is being implemented based on mobile app enhancement. So based on your face recognition, we'll be automating this attendance as well. Another item is automating the attendance based on geofencing. So once when the employee is approaching the geofencing that is being defined, so we'll mark that employee as check-in, and once when he is about to leave the geofencing that is being defined, so we'll mark such employees as checkout. So based on this, we want to try to automate the attendance activity based on the geo activity. So another a few other items which we are planning to implement as a common activity is enhancing the reports for the entire time, leave and attendance modules. So we want to provide all the reports or all the data of leave module, attendance module and time tracker module in the analytics. So it's up to the HRs or admins in order to make use of that data, and they can prepare or they can configure their own reports. Second item is activity log for time and attendance. So where the managers or admins will be able to have an activity log based on their entire activity for all these three modules which we do have. We do have a plan of common dashboard for time and attendance and a common calendar for time and attendance modules as well. So this is basically about the leave and attendance management in Zoho People product. So I hope now you are clear with how to define or how to use Zoho People leave and attendance module. So if you have any queries, you can just post and you can ask in the questions chat. So now let's have a 30-minute break, and after which my colleague Mr. Praveen will have a demonstration on timesheets module. Thank you so much for your time.